Today I want to talk to you about the best fruit to produce collagen and restore your skin. We all notice how facial firmness is lost over the years, and it's true that many fruits can act as internal factories to slow this down. But the reality is not so simple. There is a very common habit with fruit that, far from helping us, destroys tissue and accelerates sagging. That's why we're going to look at which fruits really work, which green jewel is superior to the orange, and how to consume them to correctly interpret the messages from your skin. The first one I want to talk to you about is the strawberry. Along with berries, these small berries act as a first line of defense against the sun. Their intense red color reveals the presence of a special antioxidant, ellagic acid, which protects your elastic fibers from ultraviolet radiation. To take advantage of it, simply wash a handful under the tap just before eating them. Of course, don't leave them soaking for too long so you and here a signal your body sends you comes into play. If you notice that you get bruises with any minor bump, your capillaries may be asking for help. This fragility indicates that the very structure that supports your blood vessels is weak. And here, strawberries provide the vitamin C needed to strengthen those walls. You can add a cup of chopped strawberries to your breakfast or eat them mid. Many people believe this vitamin only detoxifies, but its real function is structural. Your skin needs firm support, and this vitamin acts like cement that keeps the bricks together. Without it, the structure oxidizes and collapses. That said, it's best to avoid cutting these fruits hours in advance because oxygen degrades their properties. And here's something the cosmetics industry doesn't usually tell you. No cream penetrates as deeply as real food. When you chew each berry well, breaking the tiny seeds, you release extra fiber and antioxidants, and 1 cup covers a large part of your daily needs. This way, you turn a simple dessert into a massive repair tool for your dermis. And although strawberries are powerful, there is a group of classic fruits that have been used for centuries for this purpose. And yet, most of us throw away the most valuable part without knowing it. I'm talking about citrus fruits. Lemon, orange, grapefruit, centurious, agave sailors suffered because their skin literally fell apart, and the cause was the lack of these foods. Your body works like a construction site. It uses 2 basic materials, proline and lysine, to build the beams that support your face. But these materials don't join by magic. They need a catalyst. And the vitamin C in citrus fruits is that foreman who orders the union. Without it, the beams don't connect and the skin collapses. That's why, if you want to ensure this construction, you can include a piece of citrus in your daily routine. But here we make a textbook mistake. We almost always peel the fruit until it's immaculate. We patiently remove every white thread and throw away that spongy skin. And that is the waste. That white layer, especially what botanists call the albedo, is the real jewel for your connective tissue. It contains bioflavonoids that make collagen resistant and elastin elastic instead of rigid, and they protect vitamin C itself, so your body absorbs it well. If you throw it away, you lose half the benefit. So, how do you fix it? Next time you peel an orange or a grapefruit, leave that white part attached to the pulp. Don't remove it. The taste is a bit more bitter, but that bitterness is the sign that you're ingesting real medicine for your skin. Now, with lemon, this strategy changes. Since it's hard to eat it in bites, you can wash it well, freeze it whole, and grate it over your salads or vegetable soups. That way you take advantage of the peel and the albedo without suffering from the acidity. Now, many people think that to get more of these nutrients, the best thing is to squeeze several pieces and drink the result. It seems logical to think that 3 oranges in a glass as liquid are better than 1 eaten in bites. But this apparently healthy habit has a chemical trap that instead of rejuvenating may be aging your skin. I'm talking, and you may have already guessed it, about that glass of orange juice that accompanies breakfasts around the world. When you squeeze fruit, you break its matrix, separate the sugar from the fiber. And fiber is the safety net that slows the entry of sweetness into your blood. By removing it, you're left with pure fructose. And this is what interests us. Here a chemical process called glycation occurs. Basically, that excess sugar travels through your blood at full speed and looks for proteins to stick to. And of course, your collagen and elastin fibers are proteins. So the result is that they literally caramelize, becoming rigid, brittle, and yellowish. Your skin loses its natural bounce and wrinkles become more pronounced because the tissue is no longer flexible. That's why the rule is simple. Fruit is eaten, not drunk. And now sometimes the problem isn't that the skin hardens, but cleaning up what is already damaged. Your body accumulates old proteins that need to be recycled. And for that, there is a tropical fruit that acts like a digestive cleanup crew. Pineapple. Your skin accumulates damaged proteins over time. These are mainly remnants of old collagen that no longer support anything and are just taking up space. And here, pineapple's bromelain comes into play. This substance acts like microscopic scissors. It travels through your body and breaks down those proteins you no longer need so you can eliminate them. Basically, it clears the ground so you can build new, healthy tissue. And your body gives you clear clues when it needs this help. If you wake up in the morning and feel joint stiffness, or if you notice that your muscles take a long time to recover after exertion, it's a sign. That feeling of having trouble getting going can indicate an accumulation of inflammatory waste and misfolded proteins. And pineapple helps dissolve these blockages. But there's something else in this fruit that almost no one mentions. Manganese. This mineral is the great forgotten one in skin health, yet it is the ignition key for an enzyme called And why are we interested in this enzyme? Because it recycles proline, one of the essential amino acids, to form collagen. Without manganese, this enzyme doesn't work, and without that enzyme, collagen production slows down greatly, no matter how much vitamin C we take. Now, how you eat it is vital. Many people buy pineapple in syrup or canned, and that is a mistake if you're looking for this therapeutic effect. First, because the heat from canning completely destroys bromelain, deactivating it, and second, because we are adding sugar. And here's a piece of advice most people ignore. The core of the pineapple, that hard and fibrous part we usually throw away, is where the highest amount of bromelain is concentrated. It's better not to discard this part. You can cut it into small pieces if you want to eat it, but that's where the fruit's greatest power lies. That said, clearing the ground and recycling materials like pineapple does is only half the job. Once you've eliminated the old, you need to speed up the production of new cells to replace it. And for that there is a fruit that acts as an accelerator for your cellular renewal. Mango. That fruit with orange, sweet flesh. Its intense color is no coincidence. It's the sign that it's loaded with beta, and your body takes these pigments and transforms them into vitamin A. That's what interests us, because this vitamin is the foreman who orders the renewal of your facade. Today we know that skin is not static, skin sheds. Every 28 days you should have new skin. But over the years, this process becomes slow and lazy. Dead cells stay stuck to the surface for too long. And of course this dulls your natural glow, and wrinkles become more pronounced because the skin becomes rough. So mango accelerates this turnover, pushes old cells out and brings fresh, plump new ones up to the surface. And here, teamwork happens. The vitamin A from mango joins the vitamin C you already have. Together they do something few creams achieve. They thicken the dermis, they make the deep layer of your skin wider and more resistant. But be careful with the ripeness point. The bioavailability of these compounds skyrockets when the fruit is ripe. It has to be soft to the touch, and its flesh must be a deep orange. That's when the concentration of beta-carotenes is at its maximum, and your body can truly use it. In addition, there's an important safety advantage with mango. Vitamin A from certain supplements is often toxic if you overdo it. It accumulates in your liver and can cause serious problems. But the vitamin A from mango is intelligent. Being beta-carotene, the step before vitamin A, the body only converts the exact amount it needs at that moment. The rest is eliminated without harm. It's a perfect safety system from nature. That said, mango has a high glycemic index, so it's not to be consumed more than 3 times a week. And for all this to work, there is a mandatory consumption rule. This vitamin A, is fat-soluble. It means it dissolves in fat, not water. If you eat mango alone on an empty stomach, you absorb very little. The trick is in the company. Eat it as dessert after a meal with olive oil, or pair it with some almonds or walnuts. Fat acts as the vehicle that transports the nutrient from your intestine to your skin. That said, even if you choose the right fruit and eat it with fat, there is a kitchen habit that often destroys all this effort in seconds. I'm talking about a form of preparation that many consider traditional and healthy. And that habit is cooking fruit, omemade jams, apple compotes, or tosei oven-baked fruits that seem like the perfect dessert. The problem here is temperature. Vitamin C is extremely sensitive to heat. From 45 degrees, it starts to degrade, and when you boil fruit to make jam, you easily exceed 100 degrees. You basically annihilate the main nutrient you are looking for your collagen. In addition, cooking fruit concentrates its natural sugars, the water evaporates and the fructose remains. If you like the soft texture of compote, you can blend fresh fruit. Make a raw apple puree with cinnamon or mashed berries with a fork just before eating them. That way you get the texture without sacrificing the chemical structure of the fruit. So we've talked about red, orange, and yellow fruits, but there is a green, small, hairy fruit that surpasses all the others in power. It's the undisputed champion in nutritional density. I'm talking about kiwi, and specifically the yellow or gold variety, although the classic green one is also interesting. Many believe that orange is the queen of vitamin C, but kiwi has almost double the vitamin C per gram compared to an orange. And it does so with less sugar. That's nutritional density. Basically, you get double the construction material for your skin in the same size. And here, your mouth gives you the clearest clue about the state of your skin. If when brushing your teeth you see traces of blood in the sink, or if your gums are red and inflamed, it can be a warning sign for your collagen. After all, gums are pure connective tissue. If they bleed easily, it means the structure that holds your teeth is weakening. And doctors call this subclinical scurvy. It's not the severe disease of ancient sailors, but it's the step before it. The thing is, your wise body, if it lacks vitamin C, sends it to vital organs like the heart or brain, and sacrifices the skin and gums. That's why bleeding gums can be an interesting warning that your skin is losing support. And kiwi not only provides the raw material, it does something more. It activates the workers. In your skin there are cells called They are the builders responsible for making new collagen, and with age these builders become lazy, fall asleep, and stop working. Today we know that the body has a limit to vitamin C absorption, and with this amount of 2 pieces, you reach the maximum usable dose. Now, if you choose green kiwi, you get more fiber and an enzyme called actinidin that helps you digest dietary proteins. But if you choose yellow, you get more pure vitamin C for the skin, so you can alternate them to get the best of both worlds. And one detail about kiwi. I know the hairy texture of the green one isn't pleasant for many, but the skin of yellow kiwi is thin and smooth. If you wash it well, you can eat it in bites, just like you would an apple. I tell you this because part of the antioxidants that protect the fruit from the sun are concentrated in the skin. And of course, when you eat it, those antioxidants go on to protect you. But making collagen isn't just about stimulating the builders. You need architects who bind the fibers so they don't come loose. And for that there is a tropical fruit often ignored in the supermarket that fights inflammation and gives you the binding materials most people lack. Guava. Guava is not only the fruit with the most vitamin C we have access to, it also contains a large amount of 2 minerals, copper and zinc, and their function in your skin is very specific. They create crosslinks. Imagine your collagen and elastin fibers as loose threads floating in the dermis. Here, copper and zinc act like staples that bind those threads together to form a strong and flexible mesh. Without them, the skin stretches but doesn't have the strength to return to its place. It loses its natural bounce, and that's when marked sagging appears. That feeling that the skin hangs. So how do you eat it? In bites. Like an apple. Wash the fruit well and eat it whole. And the seeds, if you chew them well, release oils and fiber that drag toxins out of your intestine. Now, if they're too hard for your teeth and you're worried about damaging them, you can blend them in a powerful blender until they're completely pulverized. As for the dose, 1 medium guava a day is enough to cover these mineral and vitamin C requirements. In fact, it gives you all the vitamin C you need in a single piece. So far we've seen fruits that must be eaten raw, and heat was the #1 enemy. But nature is capricious. There is a food that botanically is a fruit, although we treat it as a vegetable, that breaks this rule completely. It's a red guardian that needs fire and fat to activate its power. I'm talking about the tomato, and its great power is visible at a glance. Lycopene. This red pigment is not just a natural coloring, it's one of the most powerful antioxidants that exist for your skin. It acts as an internal sunscreen. When ultraviolet rays hit your skin, they generate free radicals that break down collagen. This is what we call and lycopene sacrifices itself for you. It absorbs that damaging energy before it breaks your fibers. What it basically does is preserve collagen, which is the raw material before it becomes a firm structure. But here comes the twist that changes the rules of the game. With tomato, heat turns out to be your best ally. If you eat raw tomato in a salad, you absorb very little lycopene. The reason is that this compound is trapped inside the fruit's cell walls, which are very tough, and your digestive system can't break them well on its own. It needs fire. When you cook tomato, heat breaks those cell walls and releases more lycopene. And there's a second mandatory requirement: fat, because lycopene is fat soluble. Without fat, it slips through your intestine and doesn't reach your skin as much. That's why homemade tomato sauce is better for your wrinkles than raw tomatoes, and if you add a tablespoon of olive oil, even better. The longer you cook the sauce, the more lycopene you release. A traditional slow-cooked sofrito concentrates this nutrient in a way no other food can match. Another option is roasting them in the oven. You won't get as much lycopene, but it's a middle ground. Cut them in half, add oil, oregano, and leave them until they wrinkle. Now, you can have all the lycopene in the world and all the activated vitamin C. But your skin cells, the fibroblasts, need a strong wall to stay upright and retain moisture. Especially if that wall is weak and doesn't retain moisture, the cell dries out and dies. And to build that impermeable wall, you need a fat that works as a team with tomato and that we often avoid out of fear of calories: avocado. Every cell of your face, including those fibroblasts that make collagen, is wrapped in a membrane, a fat wall. And of course, if your diet is very low in fats, that wall becomes thin and brittle, water escapes, and the cell dries out and dies. So you drink your 2 liters of water a day, apply moisturizing cream, but still feel tight, dry, or flaky skin. This is because you're not lacking water, you're lacking structural fat to retain it. It's like trying to fill a bucket with holes. So avocado seals those holes, gives you the fatty acids needed to repair the lipid barrier, and thus hydration stays inside. And remember what we saw earlier about mango and tomato? I told you that their nutrients beta-carotene and lycopene needed fats to be absorbed. That's why avocado is the perfect companion. It acts as the transport vehicle. If you eat a tomato and mango salad without fat, you absorb very little. On the other hand, if you add half an avocado, you multiply the absorption of those antioxidants by 7. You make the rest of your diet work better. In short, we've seen that skin isn't fixed only from the outside with expensive creams, it's built and repaired from the inside. You have the bricks in kiwi and citrus fruits, the protective shield in cooked tomato and berries, the fatty structure in avocado, and deep cleaning in pineapple. The key is not to obsess over a single miracle fruit, but to rotate them throughout the week. And above all, remember that juice is the enemy disguised as a healthy friend. Chew your fruit, take advantage of the fiber, and let your body do the rest. So now you know how to produce collagen for your face. But to protect the rest of your body, you may be interested in watching my video about the best homemade oil to eliminate wrinkles. I'll leave it right here for you to watch now. Take good care of yourself.